Morning, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the stream. My name is Ace. I like drawing. We're practicing 3D sculpting, and today we're going to be doing some retopology. All right. I want to give you an idea of the progression that we have been doing on retopology. Okay, we're going to go back to one of our older sculpts that we have completed. Give me 1 second. This one. Let's go to this one. I'm making 3D models to use as reference for a webcomic that I'm working on. I finished writing it. I'm slowly editing it. We're getting there. It's been quite a process, but we're getting there. We're making some great progress. And now we're designing the characters so I can use them as reference in the panels and be able to produce them a little faster than I would if I didn't have any reference. Okay, at least that's the idea. We'll have to see. I haven't actually put it into practice yet, but I am working on a practice sculpt for animation, and I'm gonna see exactly how far I can push this. Okay, I'll do that. I'm working on it simultaneously. Whenever I get done for the stream sculpt, I keep working on the stream sculpt because I don't want to just show the progress on stream, the full progress until we can actually complete the full progress on the stream. But besides the obvious stuff, the stuff that I can't, focus on. But my goal is to be able to show the entire process eventually on the stream. Okay. We've done a lot of the first half. We haven't done much of the second half, but we're getting there. Okay, we're getting there. Okay, let's see here. I want to show you something. As soon as I pull up the, okay, here we go. Let's see. Go to object mode. Why are we? Where the heck are we? Here we are. All right. That's right. On this particular sculpt, everything's in a different window. I don't know why. All right, just so I'm gonna hide the rig just so you can see. All right. Now we're going to go into edit mode. Okay, here we go. Now this is like this is the final topology, but you can see that it's how inconsistent it is, especially like right here in the face. I can't show you the whole body, unfortunately, but well, maybe I can. I don't know. Okay, we're just gonna do it. Let me see here. We still have the underwear. Yes, we do. They're right there. Are they on? I don't know. We'll see. I don't know if that it'll be. I don't know if it'll be a big deal, but we'll see. Let me see. Let me hide that. Let me hide the. Okay, they're not. They are on, but they are clipped into the body. The underwear, the bottom underwear anyway, is only for streaming purposes anyway. But the undershirt, that's fine. I may have an undershirt. Some people have an undershirt, some people don't. It's okay. I can. That's something I can easily edit in. Okay. Now, let's see. Stash top. Okay. Wait, hold on. Where's the top? Where's the top? Give me that. Give me that top. Oh, that's top teeth. I know we're looking for shirt, aren't we? Yeah. Why in the blue heck can I not see undershirt and underwear? Okay, hold on. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna choose another sculpt. That's what I'm gonna do. Okay, let's choose another sculpt. No, do not save. But you can see this. You can see what I'm talking about. How the retopology is kind of different in different areas. Okay, here's our other sculpt that we haven't finished rigging because we're still trying to figure that out. That's on the to-do list. Okay, but we're getting there as well. Now let me hide that. Let's see here. Okay, getting a little. All right, we can just turn on the underwear, pants, shirt, and It's low bearing equipment. Okay. Now we're gonna click on the body. I'm going to object mode, click on the body, and go back into edit mode. Okay, here we go. This is what I'm talking about here. This is what my goal at first when doing red topology was just to cover the entire mesh, right? But you can see the problems, how it's not even. There's some bunching up here. There's bunching up there. There's all kinds of bunching up on his arm. That just ends right there for some reason. These aren't going to be animated, so I didn't really, um, I'm not too concerned about that. There's, how the face is, and this red topology kind of ends right there. It's not really smooth. We're going to try to fix that from now on, okay? But this is the type of red topology I've been doing because I just don't know how to do it yet. But we are figuring things out. There's a little, hang on, and there is this boost. You can see that it just goes all the way down. It's a very low poly red topology to my credit, but it's functional, but I don't know how this would hold up in an animation, to be honest with you. One day we're gonna test it, because if it doesn't affect animation at all, I'm just not gonna I'm not gonna like fret over like one or two little mistakes that I might make during red topology. Little small mistakes, okay? And just to give you a comparison of what I'm doing, that is the type of red topology we've been doing. The first sculpt was a little better than that, of course, but it's tough. Trust me, it's messed up. It's not great red topology on that one either. Okay, now let's go to what we are doing now, what we're going to be doing for this stream. Do not save. I know I did. Okay, now this is what we're doing now. All right. Now we just need sorry, just need to even it out a little bit. But this is way better. I know it might not look too different, but it's actually way better. There's a little bit of problem here, but I can just straighten those out. Okay. I actually missed this. This was a line that I added at the last minute because these faces were very wide down here. So I added a line here, and they're a little close together right here, but as you can see, the red topology is following the form a little bit better. And instead of, I think my problem was I was trying to it was like basically just picture a grid just slapped on the character. That was how I was trying to do it. But this time we have the red topology kind of wrapping around on itself. And this is mirrored now. So when we finally finish this, you'll get to see a little better how it all turns out. As you can see here, this kind of wraps around like in a circular pattern all the way around instead of just going straight up and down everywhere. I think that's where I was having the most problems at. It wasn't really following the form. We're doing a little better in that department. Hopefully in the next scope we can get this even more even and straight than we've gotten on this one. But this is our progress so far. I'm pretty happy with it. I think this will work. I just can't rush it. That's the thing. It's a very tedious and I'm admittedly boring process. Okay. But you just don't rush it. Just try to pay attention to what you are doing and making sure that it's all even and it doesn't really end anywhere. I almost made the same mistakes, to be honest. My plan was to because I had a lot of red topology in the front, but not in the back, right? So what I did was I started like ending the lines like on the back of the head because there's no way that it would affect anything. You can't really animate the back of a head. You can move the entire head, but that's not going to deform the head, and plus it's going to be covered with hair. So I was like, okay, I guess that's fine. I've read somewhere that you kind of have to know when to break the rules. So I was going to go with that, but then I was like, no, I'm going to try to sit down and figure this out and try to make it better. So we opted for a technique. See, and this is the only problem right here. See that? How it just ends right there. Not really sure. I mean, I could put a triangle there, but they said you should avoid triangles. I think I should just close it off, to be honest, and just accept it. It's on the bottom of the jaw. You ain't gonna really be able to see it, but um, yeah, it's just a little bit of straightening out. But I mean, as far as I'm concerned, it's fine. It's kind of wrapped, like it kind of widens at the back of the head because the form goes that way, but it's for the most part even. This is the only, I would say, if I had to critique it myself, besides what I just showed you here, maybe the corner of the mouth could probably use some attention. Not really, yeah, see it ends right there. I might be able to fix that actually. That's actually a really easy fix. All I would have to do would be to cut and slide and then just, well, I can't, they're not going to let me do it, but basically just cut that in half, but I can do it manually right now. So I'm going to try to do it. And I'm going to show you exactly how I'm going to do it, obviously. Let me see here. Oh, this one right here, right? All right, so I'm going to select faces and I'm going to delete this face. We just don't need it. Now I'm going to go to edges. Just click those edges. And I hope this actually makes, I hope I didn't delete anything important. I actually don't know. This makes sense to me, but it could be like a face, like a weird face that I didn't see. Let's go inside of his head. Okay, now we're inside of my character's head. I just need to see how the other side looks. Wait, hold on. The camera is not letting me go, and I don't know why this happens sometimes, but okay, hold on. Let me go into his cheek here. Here we go. Now we're closer. I'm not worried about this once we're done apologizing it, that won't be there. It'll just be what you see here. The green will become the new mesh when I'm done. That's the whole idea behind it. Okay, so it doesn't look like there's anything out of the ordinary here besides this. I think that just bends up a little bit. Maybe it could just be a perspective thing. Okay, so this isn't connected. The lip ends right there. I should probably fix that. So I'm gonna spin this around and okay. And we're just gonna hit F. It's a F2 add-on built into Blender. You just go and install it and it'll do that. That's the function of it. You just it's like an autofill type shortcut, I guess. It's the best way I can explain. Yeah, okay, so I did miss this. There should be another face here and probably here too. So we'll fix that. I actually did not see that. It's very easy to miss stuff when you got a lot of faces. We're still learning. We're still trying to figure this out. I just want to try to do this in the most efficient, best way that I know how, which I don't know much, but we're, like I said, we're learning. We're here to learn. Oh, that's not what we want. That's not what we want. Turn around. Okay, as long as we don't hold shift, we should be fine. Nope, that creates a triangle. So we need a third face in order for it to, we need a third edge in order for it to be a square, to be square shaped. So what I'm gonna do is, the only way you can't do this with edge, you have to go to vertex, yeah, vertex select, and then you just hit F in that mode and you'll get a square instead of a triangle. If you do it in edges and you only select two, you're going to get, of course, a triangle shape, which we're supposed to avoid that. So we're going to avoid it. All right, so now we have three edges here. We have 1, 2, and this edge would make 3 if we wanted to connect the top to the bottom. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to see how that looks. I don't know if it's going to work, but it should work. All right, click that, click that. We could do a triangle here, but this is on the lips. These will be, you know, distorted in some way when we get to manipulating the face and the emotions that we want. We want to be able to show emotion. I don't want my characters to have porcelain faces, you know, in my comic. I want them to actually show emotion. So that's kind of the reasoning behind having reference that's fully rigged. And I'll probably get a picture off of the internet of people doing emotions just so I can reference that in my reference and then reference that in, it's a reference with a reference, okay? And then reference that in my comic book, okay? That's what we're gonna do. Oh yeah, let's try. No, not that one. This one. I don't know how that's gonna look. See what happens when we press F. Yeah, I don't know about that. Now it looks like he has webbing on the corner of his mouth. I don't think that's the right way to go. I'm gonna back up some. I think we can just do this. I don't know what's gonna happen if we leave it like this, but let's try it. And what we can do afterwards is nothing. Yeah, I think we'll just leave it like that. Good morning, studio. Welcome to the stream. Happy Monday. I know it's the start of yet another week. I hope everything goes well for you on Monday. I know it's not everyone's favorite day of the week, but today we are working on retopology. We're trying to make it a little more straight than usual. It looks better. It looks way better than I actually just showed the previous ones. The retopology of my previous sculpts. This is a definite improvement over those works. Okay, we were just trying to get through it. We were just trying to cover the mesh before, but now we're actually trying to plan out where all of the faces are going. They just need a little bit of adjusting to make it a little bit more even. But the problem was me just trying to wrap a grid around the mesh without it actually following the form. So instead of trying to take the roll straight back like I normally do, and then running into problems when like if you start from the top and just go straight back from here to the back of the neck, then the sides aren't going to really match, and you're going to have to start making weird edits. And we're trying to get this right for our our animation study sculpt, which I am working on simultaneously. It's turning out very well. We're not at the retropology stage yet, but so far I think the anatomy that we got is it's pretty good. So we'll see how that turns out. But that particular mesh will be, I want that to be able to be used in the animation. So we'll see how that goes. Just for the animation test, I'm gonna do walk cycles, things like that. So that way we can move on to the next step or get the XP that we need to, you know, work on other projects that I've been talking about since I've been streaming, like, you know, game dev or animation, something like that. And I just want to hit G right here. How's your game coming along? I'm gonna leave this like this. When we do the final topology, it'll be a little bit more, just as long as this is even and straight. When we do the final topology, all of this will be smaller and it won't be as weird. But we'll be all right. Let's see here. Now I see that. Okay, we're working. Actually, you know what I was doing is I am opting to do the edge loops as I go along and not first for some reason. So we have an edge loop here. I think it went around. I think there was one that went around the pectoral muscles, and then the shoulder. We did there's an edge loop here, and of course the mesh follows it this time, and an edge loop here. It's like just think of this as a domino mask. That's an edge loop there too, and then around the neck. Great, the prototype is basically done, and the narrative is done. I have to parse it into the game, do the level design basically. Yeah, that's one thing that I didn't put any thought into with my brainstorming. I was brainstorming about like how any of the projects would look. I don't have a setting. I don't have a setting locked down. I for the beat 'em up that I've mentioned, I do have a setting for that, but I don't. I'm not sure how it's gonna look. And I kind of have a setting for another project, but I don't know. Like, there's no story. There's just a concept. So we still gotta put some stuff in the oven here. I'm going to my on my to do list is I'm going to download uh Unreal and set that up for later, basically. That's okay. The only reason I have a story is because it's story driven. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I haven't put any thought into that because I'm still working on the webcomic, but my mind is starting to go in that direction a little bit. So every now and then I get an idea. I'm like, oh yeah, maybe we can try that when we come to it. But I could, if I can get the animation down, I could potentially work on it simultaneously, and then I can start putting a little because, like I said, the story is written for my webcomic, and I'm just editing it, and I kind of know where what I want to edit and what I want to keep. So it's that doesn't really take much effort at all, unless there's like a big change, like I deleted a character from the story that I just don't need, and I added some clarifying details for certain plot points. Um, what was the biggest? There was a change. That's right. There was a change in how Act One starts because it was a very thin plot line, and I was like, well, I don't know. It's basically held together by contrivance. So when I was like, okay, so let me just kind of like strengthen this part of the story a little bit more. So I was working on that. But otherwise, the story beat is the same. It just makes more sense. Driven, but morally, normally story is that. Oh, for game dev, really? Is the story last for game dev? Like, is that like a normal thing? I haven't really looked into the process of making a game yet, but it's coming. Like, I feel the bar is filling, the bar is filling, and then my camera is following me. I don't know why it does that randomly. Actually, I do know why. If I move it enough, it'll just automatically turn on the auto. I wish I knew how to turn that off and leave it off, but I don't. Anyway, uh, I don't want to get up and it's like I don't want that to happen. So I have to make sure that it's not following me in case I do have to like get up and go to the bathroom and the camera just tries to follow me out of the room. It's got like a built-in AI. You can tell it to focus on your hand or your face. I wish I had gotten a camera that did not do that. You want to start with mechanics. I have the okay. I have that. I have a solid idea for the mechanics. So I guess that worked out for me. I just don't have a story. I've been really thinking about a Zelda like because that would, but in 3D, like maybe like a 3D Zelda, and I think I could do it. I just need a setting and a story. But I have the concepts already. Like I have the mechanics, and I kind of know what I want to, how the game is going to flow and everything. So you want to start with the mechanics, then game loops. There's a lot before the story. Okay, to keep that in mind. So I'm thinking about how to do the edge loops here. All I got to do is just wrap this around the shoulder and underneath. That's it. But I have to. I don't want to just do it like we've been doing before. I've done that before. What I want to do is I want to wrap this and then have the form follow it all the way around, and then also just not leave any unclosed loops here. Yeah, I guess that's the best way I could put it. So we're just gonna do it and see what happens. Okay, we're gonna wrap around and then we're gonna try to make it make sense, as they say. Yeah, I'm like the only thing that I really have to do is just create the character, create the main character, so I can put it in the game and like start testing or like just developing, But I don't have any code. I don't have any code experience, but I think I know where I would start. That's basically it, really. I'm so tempted to just start it, just start learning it. But I need to be able to animate first, I guess, or at least you know put a mesh into Unreal Engine and try to animate it. I don't know. I don't really know the thing. When I did it for Unity, literally all I did was just upload the mesh into Unity and then use mocap animations and see how the mesh behaves with the animations. But the person was naked, so I didn't have to worry about clothing clipping or anything like that. So that part was easy. So I know one way of solving that, but I want the clothes to be able to move with the mesh, right? I want it to actually look like clothes, so maybe like flow, maybe like effect by the wind, and of course hair. So I want to be able to have that happen. If I make everything static, that would be the easy way to do it, and it would work. But now I'm just being, I want I'm reaching for the sun here, but we're going to get the moon at least, right? At least that's the idea behind that. I don't know. Anyway, I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm sure I'll run into a whole new set of problems, but we're gonna give it the honest try. All right. This is not this don't look right to me. No sir. Yeah, that doesn't look right. That looks weird. This is the type of stuff that we did before. We don't want to do that this time. Okay, so what we're gonna do, I'm gonna just back everything off of the edge loop. Just back up some, and then we'll figure it out this way. Now I can already see that if we just have this flow like this, we should dissolve that line right there. Dissolve edges. Now this row will flow right into that row. Kind of like how we're doing here. We'll probably have to, no, I don't know if we should. Well, it's on the back, right? We're not at the point where we're making the muscles like flex or anything. That's on my to-do list. I'm going to try to do that on the animation sculpt actually. I have to learn shape keys though. So we're gonna add it. Well, that's an off stream thing. I'm still learning how to do that. As soon as I get that down, then we're gonna start adding that into um sculpts that are for animation. That'll be part of the process. I might just do it. I might start doing it for the webcomic meshes too, just to hammer that into the workflow. Now we have a problem. Okay, see, now these are automatically lining up. As a result, okay, we have an extra line here. We may have to delete one of these lines. So how about we do it? And then we'll just move these up and oops. We'll just move these up. Yeah, I've been looking at a lot of red topology since the last art stream. So except on Saturday, I streamed Monster Hunter on Saturday. I played it for like 7 hours. I'm tempted to just keep playing it because I want to have fun with the game, and uh, I don't want to just like it wasn't meant to be a stream game. I'm just streaming it. I'm just streaming it while I'm playing it, and that's like one thing. Like if you're trying to save it for just to stream it, and you want to actually play it, then you kind of run into a problem. It's like, oh well, what if somebody was actually watching the progression of that you're doing in the game, and then suddenly you're like far in the game and you kind of missed a big chunk of it. But I don't know. I don't really care about that. I kind of just want to have fun with the game, which I am doing already. I like it. I like games like that, so it's cool. Hunting monsters. You know what I want to do though? I mean, I think I already mentioned this. Is I want to start designing the enemies for the games that I have in mind. I'm looking at the rows here. We're gonna have to adjust that row. See how it's a little too wide there. We want to try to first we're gonna make this even and a circle, and then try to make the rows flow into it. That means we're going to have to start curving them into the thing. That's the best way I think I should do it. So that's where I'm going with that. Oh, we have a little, hold on. We have to get rid of this face. There we go. It's tempting. You guys are you game devs. It's not just you. I follow quite a few game devs, but I keep seeing it, and it's like it's so interesting to me. It's like, man, I really want to try this. You know, it's just this web comic and the 3D practice. It's already a lot for me. We're not going to give it up, but if I can find a way to do it while I'm doing do this do that while I'm doing this, then I'm going to do it. It'll just be a little backwards, you know. For this, we did the story, and now we're doing the characters. So I guess for the game dev, we'll be doing, like you said, the mechanics, and then I don't know, like if somebody designs like a game, do they need a character first, like a mesh to use, or do they just like use a ball, a sphere, or like maybe a cone or something, and just put it in the game and just you know I don't know. I don't know how that works, but I'm gonna figure it out. I do have tutorials. I just haven't looked at them yet. I wanted to make sure that I was prepared if I ever decided to just jump in with both feet like I usually do. Sometimes people use an asset. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, you could just download a pre-made character and just use that as a test and then swap it out, right? I guess yeah, I didn't think of it that way. Interesting. Like so, I guess it's just hubris in my case. Like I was like, I don't want to do that. I want to use my meshes. It's always hubris. They always tell me. They always tell me, and I have to learn. Honestly, I'm not averse to using other people's mesh. I'm probably going to end up doing that for these scenes. Like I'll probably like download a desk, a chair, a table, a bed, and just arrange it in a room quickly. I don't think I have to make those myself. A building, I don't know. Can you download a building, a city? Yes. Third person template had that mesh already set up. Oh, okay, good, 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 good. Because I kind of have an idea of the characters that I want to put in. So I was always thinking it in the sense of okay, well, I'll just design the character in a couple of weeks and then just put it into the game. Why not? But yeah, I guess it would be better to just download the asset and use that until you're ready. Okay, so we have these already lined up here. We just need to get these rows. So we're probably going to have to delete some of these. I may have to like back up on the progression of the pectoral muscles and then start putting them making them flow into the edge loop here. So we're going to just complete the circle. I think that's basically what I've been doing. Like I would like progress until I get to an edge loop, and then back up some of the mesh so I can start flowing it, just so I can see where I need to go. Basically, just creating the destination first, and then flowing what I have already into that destination. And it's been working out surprisingly. I don't know. I was still unsure of how I was going to start. When you're looking at a reference for retopology, you're just seeing a grid and you're like, you're not really, I mean, it's like, where do I start? So it's like, okay, well, why don't I just Why don't I just put the squares exactly where I see them and go from there. The only problem is the mesh isn't the same. So that's not really a super viable option. But if you have enough, you can make it work. If you have enough of a reference, you can make it work. So I've just been doing it that way. And then eventually we'll oh no, we don't want to do that. Eventually we'll have I'll just use my own mesh as a reference and then just slowly improve upon that until we have something that we can just do in our sleep. That's what I want to do. Oh, no. You have to scale that one. Stop it. It's being unresponsive. It tells you the arrows, right? But sometimes when you move the arrow will move and then you just go the wrong way. Like, what the heck? Now, I think I wonder if I have to match this with that, even though they're never going to connect. I think so because we want the rows on the arm to be exactly the same. And I've already seen how to do the elbows and knees, so we'll basically those will have their own edge loops as well. You want the mesh to follow the form of the elbow as well. I the reasoning I guess is so it doesn't mess up if you try to animate it, but we're not animating this one specifically. But you know what I am going to do though is I am going to upload one of these practice messages, close and all, into Unreal 5 and see how they actually see if the retopology that I was learning with would actually work. Because then I'll know exactly what I need to improve and what I don't have to worry about. So I think that would be good just for the future of my mesh making ability. You know what? Let me back up some because I think there's an extra face there that I can't see. Stop that. Do that again. Every time you hit E and extrude and then you right click to cancel, it's still there, even if you don't see it. It's still there. So you have to back up all the way so it's not there. It's basically what you got to do. All right, let me screw that down. Let me screw that down. I was over with mom's yesterday, and I was like, "Hey, look, this is the game I was playing, Monster Hunter. It was a movie, the Monster Hunter movie." I was like, "It's not like this at all. It's like there's no real world. You're just like you're in this there's like two worlds in that movie, right? The real world, and then they cross over to the Monster Hunter world. And I was like, the Monster Hunter world kind of I didn't because I only watched like the last Pumpkin Hill. This is Knuckles fighting Freak Knuckles, and we at Pumpkin Hill. You ready? One day I'm gonna play that. I'm gonna play Sonic Adventure one day. We'll play all the Sonic games eventually. I actually like Sonic, and that's a I don't know about the fandom sometimes. It's a mixed bag. We'll just leave it at that. But I still like Sonic games. I will play a Sonic game. That is my franchise. I think Sonic 3 and Knuckles is probably one of the best Sega Genesis games of all time. That's one of the console's best games, Sonic and 3 and Knuckles. You get a lot with it. You got multiplayer. You get 14 levels. Okay, you got all these bonus levels. It's like it's not too hard. It's not too easy. You can just play it. You know, you can get it's anybody can get into it. Only thing is, I think people consider Sonic 2 better, which is fine. Sonic 2 does have the same amount of levels, and it's it has a multiplayer as well, and it's all on one cartridge. You don't have to buy two games and combine them into one. So it's actually a valid argument. Sonic 2 could be considered better, one of the best, better than Sonic and Knuckles, or it already is one of the best games on the Genesis, but it's a solid argument for it to be better than Sonic 3 Knuckles. It's not my I like 3 more than 2, but I get it. I get it. And as far as Sonic Adventure is concerned, I mean, yes, the 3D era of Sonic games are quite janky, but and I've only actually played Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, but I've seen just about all of them. They're all janky, but yeah, I like Sonic Adventure 1 and 2. I never broke the game while playing it, but I do like them. Now we're going to try to. Now these will be easy to wrap into. They already curve upward. Curve, curve, curve. I think, yeah, I think we're good here now. Now we'll just have to curve the rest of it. Yeah, I think we can do it. Why does Pumpkin Hill always always play? I swear it's not like it's not random at all. I think the most played things end up playing. I just made a playlist of game music and stream music and just threw it all in one folder and then just hit add it all to playlist. And it always seems like the same ones play. I use VLC media player. I don't know. That's probably a thing. I'm not complaining either. I'm just that's something that I noticed. I was like, there's some tracks that always play in these streams. I just can't hear them because they come through the headset and I have it over here. I don't wear the headset while I'm doing art. Okay, let me see. Yeah, this is a very noticeable improvement. I mean, I don't know if anybody can see the improvement, but I can. It's just a little bunched up here. That's the only problem, and I have to leave it there because of the nose, because it follows the nose, and I've already tried everything to try to move the lines out a little bit more, and it kind of changes the form if I move it too far. But other than just these two lines here that are a little too close together, this does not look half bad to me. We finally have a starting point from which to improve from. So now I'm gonna go ahead and just do this and then this. I'm gonna do this. So keep swinging it around here. Yeah, I want to learn shape keys. That's gonna be the next step for me. Because apparently, like if I flex his arm, I can make his muscles flex, or just muscles in general. It doesn't have to be these specific muscles, but if I can get that and incorporate that into my meshes. Oh, hey, Tabitha Game, thank you for the follow. That is so loud. I'm sorry. Let me know if I should turn that down. How you doing, Tabitha? Hope you're having a great Monday. My name is Ace. I am practicing 3D meshes to use as reference for a Oh yes, please. Okay, I'll turn it down. I have to go into Stream Manager for that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, studio. I thought I did turn that down, but it's so loud. Um, I heard like I don't have my headphones on. And I had hold on, give me a second. I'll turn it down right now. But yeah, I'm creating 3D meshes to use as reference for a webcomic that I'm creating, and my goal is to be able to use the 3D meshes for a whole lot of other things too. So we're just trying to learn the best way of doing a 3D mesh, basically. Okay, now I just need to get to volume. I have it here. Okay, that was 50%. I'm gonna turn it down to 25. I'm sorry about that, but I heard it, and I'm not even wearing my headset. You know, let's turn it down to 20. Okay. I didn't think it was gonna be that loud. I'm sorry. All right. Okay. Back to the thing. Normally I don't get follows a lot while I'm online. Most of my follows have come when I'm not streaming, so I didn't haven't had a chance to test that that alert in real time, and it didn't sound loud to me in the stream alerts setup. But that's only because, like I said, I don't have my headset on when I'm doing that. But yeah, we're doing retopology. Basically, this is I'm just want to give you an idea here. Let's see. Let me open. I'm gonna open an older sculpt. I already showed this before, but just in case you weren't here when you saw this here's a completed sculpt. We're still rigging it, of course. Here, I'm not done with that. I'm still That's another thing that I'm trying to figure out. I'm using an automated method to rig, and it's a little different from manual. I've done manual, and I know manual works, but it's a very long process. So I'm going with Rigify, and I'm trying to get it to where I can control every little thing on the face, because what I want is I want my characters to be able to show emotion, and using a mesh to manipulate the face to where I don't really have to think about it as much. I'll just have a little bit of problems around the eyelids and the mouth, and I think because of the bones being on the outside of the face instead of in the face, and that's something that this wasn't tested yet, but I started putting the bones in the face. Anyway, that's a story for another time. I am going to try to rig it on stream, because I can just do it. I don't really have to. There's not really nothing more for me to learn there. It's just a matter of just trying to get it to work. But here's the last completed sculpt that I've done. Um, this is what it looks like semi-rendered. This is our goal here. There were some mistakes happening. That's why his pores are so strong. And I was able to recover most of the details that I lost, but the pores I didn't get to fix too well. But here we go. This is a guy. He's like a CIA agent. Um, in the story that I am making, and I want to show you. Hang on, I gotta take his clothes off. He has underwear. Okay. Now here, as you can see, hold on. Let me take his hair off. Okay. Now here we were just trying to cover the mesh, all right? Because I didn't really have an idea of how to do um uh the retopology. So you have a lot of bunching up here. See, this is what I was talking about. I was taking the grid. I was doing like a grid, just covering it with a grid. I went straight back here. But see, you this is like a spherical object, his head, right? So you go straight back, and then you just try to go to the side, and this is what you get when you do it that way. You got a little issues here and here, and then it ends right here. Just like no edge loops here. I just covered it, and then it bunches up here because there were some problems with me trying to cover the areas, and then there's like lines here and here and then his arm, and it just ends right there for some reason. It's just These are the things that I'm trying to avoid now. Okay, we're paying special attention to the retopology, because that is like the weakest part of my meshes. See, it all bunches up right there to the back of his head, to his neck there, and it just stops. This would not be or at least so I know. So as far as I've read and heard, that this would not be very good to use for animation. Okay. Now I've tested my meshes in animation in the past, but it was done differently. I learned how to do meshes in ZBrush, but since they switched to a subscription model, I decided to just go for a free option, which is Blender. Blender, you don't have to pay for it at all. Just download it and go and you can get the add-ons through the Blender, and some add-ons you have to pay for, of course, from individual, like third party, not third party, freelance people make their own add-ons, and they might decide to sell them. That is completely up to you if you want to go that route. I think you do have to, like, hair tools like $20. Quad remesh, you probably don't need that. At least I don't need it, but it's a nice quick option. It's just the problem with using a remesh, quad remesh here, is that it takes away too much of the detail. So that's why we're doing manual retopology. But this is just an example of where we were before as far as retopology is concerned. Do not save, please. And we gotta wait for it to load because it's just the way it is. And this is where we are now, where it's a little more even. It's just a little bit here, and of course, just one area there. I think I'm just gonna have to put a triangle there. That's what I meant to do. But that's basically just an idea of our progression so far. We're trying to do better here. I didn't really follow much of a tutorial for retopology. I saw how it was done and just decided to just do it. But oops, not dissolve faces, delete faces. That's where we're at. Okay. Let's see. So we're just gonna have to just have a triangle there. Of course, I have learned that you're supposed to avoid making triangles, but that's really not a triangle. Maybe if I just, yeah, it's really not a triangle. It's just weird. It's just a, I mean, it is a triangle. I mean, I don't know. We have 2,000 triangles. I don't know where they are because these are all not triangles. Okay, so I have no idea, the the method or the concept behind that. No idea whatsoever. As you can see, yeah, we got 2,000 triangles here. I don't know how to. I don't know how to not make that. I don't know how to make that number go down. I guess I could select all and then turn triangles into quads, but that doesn't work. I've tried that. It doesn't work. It doesn't produce a number one bit. So I have no idea. I just keep going and see what happens. So we have that, and it's just some weirdness around the ear. I just try to make it work. I don't have a plan on how to do ears, but we have a decent well, I mean, a better retopology than we've done before around the ears, and we just have it connect to the ear and just cover the ear. Hopefully we won't lose too much detail there. And maybe the nostrils could go in a little bit further, but I'm not really concerned about that. If I were to draw this perspective of this character right here, I would just blacken that anyway. I'll just put a black in there, put black in there, have his teeth be shadow, and then call it a day. It's really not too out of the realm for me to just tweak whatever. We don't really want to follow the reference exactly anyway, because we're going to get a lot of stiff poses. I'm going to try my best to try to show flow, or movement or whatever. That's completely up to my skill level. We'll see how that goes. I just need to get 6 meshes done. This is mesh number 3, and I can start showing pages. Okay, because the beginning of the story is pretty much edited to the point where there's nothing left for me to change. So I can start setting up scenes in Blender, and then just making panels. I plan to do that on stream as well. Just drawing. We've only done one digital art piece on stream so far. and I just did it just to show a like a proof of concept of the type of art that I want my comic to have. It'll probably hopefully it'll look better than what we came up with, but it's just to give an idea, and I just kind of felt like drawing because I haven't drawn anything in a while. This is what I mostly do when I decide to do anything art related. So I just want to make sure that we're keeping our skills sharp here. I'm about due for another 2D piece, as a matter of fact. Hopefully, I'll be able to get one in soon. We're just gonna close this loop. There was something I wanted to say, but I forgot what it was. Involving drawing. Oh yes, that's right. Yeah, I felt like doing all this sculpt actually helped actually improve my art. I haven't drawn in a while, and it turned out not bad. It was a little problems with this, starting out in the sketch. That's like my least favorite thing to do. Just start the picture, but once I get going, then it's like okay, I start getting further and further into it because I don't know. It's like a psychological thing. I don't know how it's going to turn out. Plus, I'm streaming it. How long is it going to take me to get past the sketching phase and all that? But it came out pretty well. And if there's any problems, I just fix them. So that's where we're at. Okay. Um. All right. Okay. Now my goal. Okay, we have an edge loop here. We're just doing the edge loops on the way. When I was learning how to do this, they did all the edge loops first, and then they filled them in. I'm just trying to be pragmatic here and just do them on the way. I kind of, you get an edge loop right here. There's one at the wrist. There's one around the thumb. There's one around the thumb knuckle and all the other knuckles. Like I know where they go, so it's not really like I don't really need to have them there. Plus, I'm using a reference for retopology, so I don't have to do that really. And I'm just doing it all in a way. That's really it, to be honest. But yeah, I suck at retopology. We're trying to get better at it. We're trying to get better at it. I think we're doing a pretty good job so far. All things considered. I showed you how my retopology looked. My first scope was a little better than that, but that one was like I was kind of just winging it. I was just trying to get through it because I don't like doing retopology. It's very tedious, kind of boring as well, but it's something you got to do. I really miss Z remesh. I did not have to do that. I didn't have to do this with Z remesh. It was actually really good to the point where it was good enough. Like it kind of had it. You kind of lose a little bit of the detail, but it was like I don't know. It was. Let me see if we have a comparison here. It was like it would just smooth out. Like if you made someone look really old, it would smooth it out, and it would actually make them look younger. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing because you can just put those details back on, but it wasn't that bad. Is what I was saying. One thing I did notice though is that Z remesh did lose a lot of detail around the eyelashes. Like this would not be here. So it might actually be better if I Z remeshed it and then did the retopology over it, like because I was carrying them over to Blender to do the hair. Blender was had the easiest method for me to do hair. I couldn't do. I tried to do it in Maya. It was weird. Um, ZBrush the same thing. It was easier for me to do it in Blender, so I imported everything into Blender just to do the hair. That was what Blender was originally for. We had textures in Substance Painter, which is also a subscription model now. I don't want to. I'm getting off of subscriptions. Okay, I don't really have very many subscriptions anymore. I play like one old school online game, which is Final Fantasy 11, and I have like a VPN and a couple of Twitch, like two Twitch uh subscriptions. I'm subscribed to two people on Twitch, and that's it. That's all. That's like all my subscriptions right there. Oh yeah, Microsoft Word. Yeah, that's it. That's all I have. Okay, no more. I had all the streaming services. I had all that stuff, but it was a waste of money. And plus, I don't really watch that many things anymore these days. But like I said, a lot of my free time goes into art, so I'll have like Twitch or YouTube on while I'm doing that. Whenever I decide to draw and I'm not streaming. Now, can I just connect that together? I think so. The only problem is this is a little wide. It's completely fine for this because this won't stretch too much with the arm. I think maybe it will actually. I don't know. It depends on how the program tries to weight paint it. But it looks like I may have to add a loop there. The only problem is it's going to create. I'm following it. Yeah, it's gonna be a little close together, so I can probably move every row over a little bit more to try to make the make that not too close together, try to make it a little more even. So we're just gonna have to see because it's looking like I'm gonna have to add another loop there. I hope that it works out. I'm just gonna move everything over right now because we have a lot of space over here, and this area is going to be covered, so there won't be a lot of detail to put in the texture there, so it won't really matter in the end. And this person in the story, I don't think they're gonna show off they're not gonna have like their muscles showing anyway. They're gonna be mostly clothed. This particular person here, only the first sculpt probably will have will be shirtless for some scenes for some reason. I seem to remember that. I can't remember the exact specifics, but I think he will be. But this one and the one before probably not. So not really concerned about how this looks. And of course, if there is okay, no problem, studio. If there is a scene or two and a problem here, we can easily just fix it when we're drawing it. Like we don't need an exact reference for everything. But this is just to take some of the thinking out of the perspective and in the pose. I could just draw what I see, and hopefully that will improve the speed of making pages. That's basically what we're trying to do. So I'm gonna go on ahead. I'm just gonna move everything over here. And yes, I can draw without reference, but since this is going to be a web comic, I want the art to be the best as it can be, so we're going to use reference. And plus, learning this was actually really fun, so I don't mind. I don't mind if it takes longer. I actually got to learn a new medium. I've been practicing this since 2022, and I've been having a blast with it. If you have the time to commit to it, to learning this, I don't think you will regret it, to be honest. All you need is just some good tutorials. And now I didn't do the donut tutorials. A lot of people recommend that, and you can find plenty of those tutorials on YouTube. But I just jumped in with both feet and started learning people right away, and it was a little rocky at first. Like I started with a sphere, and I had like a Majora's Mask for a face. It was like the moon. If you ever played that, I don't know, but it looked like that, and it was like carved in. It was the worst sculpt I've ever done. Was the very first one because I just wanted to see, and then but and I wish I didn't delete it because I would show it to you right now. But I was like, man, and I don't really delete my old art. I have most of my old art that I've done on digital. Actually, all of it. I think. I don't think there's a digital art piece that I have gotten rid of yet, besides my first sculpt, because it was like there's no point. But I wasn't really thinking about streaming it or showing it when I at the time. Okay, I was just my plan was to do all the reference first and then just stream me drawing the pages. But I was like, you know what? I'm at the point where I can stream this. I'll just stream me myself learning this. So that's what I did. because I don't mind, making mistakes in real time and then trying to fix them and or getting stuck on something. I'm not embarrassed by my art too much. I think I've gotten over that. Well, I mean, for the most part, I'm a little reluctant to show my old art because it's old, but I think maybe one day I'll do a channel point redeem of like, oh yeah, yeah, show off an old piece and just try to get over it that way. I have a lot of old art that I've done over the years. There was a time when I was posting it in various art forms and whatnot, and I think they're still posted, but I don't have a DeviantArt anymore. But all that stuff that I've drawn on DeviantArt, I still have it, so it's not really a big deal. I'm right now, as soon as I can get a new portfolio done here, like a more recent portfolio, I'm gonna start posting my art again. So just ignore all of my socials for now because there's nothing on them. All my time is going into learning. I'm trying to get some work together to start posting again. That is my next goal. As soon as I lock down this workflow and I can just do this with meeting got pushed 30 minutes. Oh, okay, no problem. Welcome back. Yeah, I was talking about posting art again. Yeah, as soon as I get to the point where I can do this without having to think about it too much and it looks great, I'm going to start doing like additional art projects on the side and then posting them. So we're gonna get some. We're gonna fill those socials out a little bit more. Okay, they're very inactive right now. But don't worry about it. It will be filled one day. Hopefully soon. Hopefully sometime this year. Okay, it's not something that I've been thinking about. Right now I have an animation study sculpt that I'm doing off stream, and I have my of course my webcomic projects. That's what I'm working on right now, and we're starting to look at some game dev stuff, but that's something that not won't be started yet. I'm just moving everything over right here because I'm going to add another edge loop right here. That's what I'm doing. That's all you missed, studio. Okay. Making the story wasn't too difficult for this webcomic. I had like this universe that I made since I was in elementary school. Okay, so and I always had an idea of making a comic one day. Like, because I used to make comics in school. I just grab a bunch of sheets of paper and just fold them in half, staple them, and then just draw whatever, like right there on the spot. That's the comic. Okay, that was my comics back in the day. Most of my comics back in the day, and but this comic, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna put is all the effort that I can possibly give into it, and it took me like 3 years, but I wrote an entire volume. Okay, I think I worked it out. I worked out the page count. I think it would be. I think volume one is going to be like 50 issues. I got a couple of other volumes planned too, but I haven't started writing them yet. Not until we're solidly doing pages on this um, volume. Once we're just doing pages and after page, then I'll start writing the volume two of this story here. But that's basically what I did, and I wanted to do a story, like a prequel story to that universe that I created years ago. Now my kid slash teenage mind, I'm going to try to keep all the details of this story as intact as possible, but we're going to, it's a little edgy, so we're going to of course adjust it with our more mature minds. Hopefully it'll be more rich. It would be more, makes more sense than it did. But it wasn't too bad, it wasn't too bad of a story. It was just, some things don't need to happen, okay? We'll just say that. And again, it was nothing crazy. It was just, yeah, I look at it with my adult mind. I say, okay, maybe that's just a little unnecessary, okay? It's just a story that I brainstormed over a large portion of my life, and I just decided to make an action, a project out of it. I said, you know what? I haven't done anything with these ideas, so um, this is my attempt to do that. But this story was original. This story was not really. There was like some bare bones stuff that was planned out in advance, but otherwise, this is a fairly recent story that I've written, and it serves as the prequel to that existing world that I made. And my goal is just to get it out there somewhere. Hopefully, somebody will enjoy it. Somebody out there will enjoy it. That's really it. I don't know if I haven't thought really a thought about publishing it. I was just gonna put it on a website, but I don't know. It's a possibility. Never say never. You'll at least get to see a lot of it. You'll get to see it anyway if I do it on stream, which I plan to. I want to do all the pages that I draw. I do want to do on stream, but the story that this comic serves as a prequel to was meant to be animated. It was actually meant to be animated. Hopefully, I can start doing that. Okay, but those are my very loose plans for all of this. Hopefully, sometime in the near future we can see some of that come into fruition. I don't know. Releasing stuff is been my weak point. I haven't really, besides the stuff that I posted online 10 years ago, 14 years ago even, I haven't really done anything completed, any complete projects. Hopefully I want to change that. I actually do want to change that. That was always like a thing of mine. It's not just unfinished drawings. When I started posting them, they were finished, but the quality, is something to be desired. I'm not satisfied with it. Even like the stuff that I showed U Studio, like Golden Freddy art, I feel like I could have done better with that. I don't know. I drew like a Golden Freddy picture back when Five Nights at Freddy's was like the new thing, and that was like the one character that stood out to me because I was like, it had no at the time he had no story, he had no explanation. He would just show up and just crash your game for no reason, and I thought that was hilarious. So I just drew it. I drew it and posted it. People enjoyed it. People wanted me to draw Bonnie, but I never got around to doing it. Of all of the characters, the old like destroyed looking Bonnie, that was the one iteration of Bonnie that I thought was pretty cool because he just had like a bottom jaw. It was a bottom jaw, right? It was just it was like a no face, a bottom jaw, and like red lights for eyes. I was like, yeah, yeah, I kind of want to draw that. That's kind of cool because I kind of like macabre stuff. So, um, that was the I forget what they called that. Old Bonnie? No, it wasn't that, was it? But the story was they took the parts from the old animatronics and put them in the toy ones. I wasn't really a big fan of the toy ones, but I like the more sinister looking ones. They took that a little too far, like I don't really care for like the nightmare, like from nightmare animatronics from Five Nights at Freddy's 4, I think, or the Phantom ones too much, except Springtrap. Springtrap was more like the original ones. But yeah, I watched all the YouTubers play those games, and actually did get them. I just never really played through them like that. I enjoyed watching them more, but one day I'll actually play them. I just because I do like them a lot. I just never actually played those games. You see here. Okay, so we got yeah. I think we can probably afford more space back here. That's something I'll just do over time. I'm not gonna try to. Oh, you know what? Maybe we can. because we're still trying to. I'm still trying to move these over. I feel like I did move them over. It seems like I didn't move them over enough, doesn't it? I had a dream about Bonnie once back when that was new. It was kind of weird. I was sitting at a desk, just like the first one, and I turned, and he was standing in the doorway, and I was like, oh, and I was like, is he gonna do the jump scare? Oh. But then I woke up. I wasn't scared. I was like, oh, is he about to jump scare me? That was it. That was the end of the dream. It was kind of funny. It was more funny than scary. But I was definitely expecting to be jarred out of my sleep, but I didn't do it. It didn't happen. He just stood there menacingly, and then I woke up. You ever have a video game dream? I wasn't even playing those games either. I was just watching. I think it was just Markiplier play those. I don't really. It's not a channel I watch often, but when I found out about that game, that's who I watched. Those were the ones that I watched. I like Manly Badass Hero because it's less commentary, and you could just play the game and he'll just say something here and there. You kind of get more game than person, so you just want to see the game. He only play horror games, so I like horror games. I've seen a couple of good games I want to try because of those types of YouTubers. Trying to get them closer. You have to adjust it one line at a time. Oh, I could move it all the way over, but it's kind of weird. I could move the entire line over. Come on. Okay. Try to get this going here. All right. Retopology is way harder than sculpting, in my opinion. And it's not just like difficulty, it's just trying to make it basically just make it make sense. Try to make it follow the form and not be sloppy and be even. Like learning sculpting was way easier than this. I think it's not even an issue of difficulty. I think it's just tedious, to be honest. Making them a little bit more even, just a little bit. Now we got all the space right here. Now you might be tempted to divide this with a loop, with an edge loop, but you have to think about where it's gonna go. If you do that here, it's gonna go all the way up, and you can see you can follow it. These will be super bunched together, just like on our old sculpt. We want to avoid doing that this time. And it'll go all the way around and stop here, and then it will be mirrored on the other side because we have a mirror modifier for this. We're only doing half, and Blender is doing the other half for us. That will cut your work in half, of course. And it'll be you're only spending half the time because you're only doing half the work. And then you just apply the modifier, and this will all appear on that side. And there's an extra step there, and you'll see it when we get to that point. I'm from as soon as the retopology is done, I'm going to make sure that I stream the second half because all my other streams have everything before this, but not much after. So once we get the other half on, then we're gonna try to see if we can get one day the entire workflow. That way, if there's anybody out there who's trying to learn this, they can see these videos here that I have and get an idea of what I did. Maybe that'll help them somehow. This is from I am not a professional. I feel like I'm still new. I feel like I'm still new at this, super amateur, but we're working through it. We're going to figure it out, and they will get better. I want to be able to just do them in my sleep, no problems whatsoever. We'll see how that goes, and then do them faster. When I first started, thanks to ZBrush, it was easy. It was easy to get these done. It was only taking me like a week to do them, but we weren't doing we weren't really doing all the extra stuff that I'm doing now. So, the quality of the sculpts, it was enough to use as a reference, but really nothing more, to be honest. Didn't have any pores. The clothes weren't even rendered. They were still very polygonal clothing. But now we can do textures. We can make it look like leather. We can make it look like cotton. I think that's valuable in the grand scheme of things. And then we can improve upon that and make it. And so one day we'll have clothes that actually look like clothes. All right, so I'm just trying to get it to where they are roughly the same size here. And now if we add an edge loop here, that will pretty much give us the same dimensions as these, but it will bunch up right here. So how do we fix that? Well, we can look at the width of this and compare it to the width of this edge loop here, and probably make this a little bit more wider. That's not a mistake. Or you can fix this just by, like, if you see something like this, like, oh no, here we have our edge and face is right there, but it's not really displaying correctly. You just grab it and you just press G and it'll fix it. That's pretty much all you really have to do. G, okay, and just do that all the way around, just so it looks like it makes, it looks like it's supposed to look. Basically it. Then we can just stretch that out a little bit more. Our goal is to have these fit, like, perfectly wrap around our arm too, so that way we can just go straight down. See how that works though. I don't know. We're gonna make sure that we end up with a better retopology than our last sculpts. That's for sure. I want to do it again. That's why this is what you run into when you try to do everything. Everything out of your sight will, and I think it's because we have this on, snap on. Let me try this. Yeah, okay, it behaves correctly when you do that. Besides the obvious, we already know how to fix that because I just showed you. So yeah, when you do things like that, you don't. Now the way I fixed it before, if you have snap on, it's like if you don't want to turn snap off, and you do this, and it's like it doesn't snap right. Oh, sorry, snap is on or it's off. Sorry. Then you hold control and it'll display correctly. That's how you fix it. That's how I fixed it before I showed you the just turn snap off. If you hold control, then it won't attach the back to the front or anything like that. Okay, hold on. Uh-oh. It's not working at all. It's not displaying correctly at all. Oh, no wonder. Snap's not on. You need snap on for that to work. Now it's gonna snap correctly. Okay, there. Oops. There. Make sure I didn't change it. Okay, good. That's basically it. There. Now they are where they're supposed to be. I'll right click that. Oops. Click the wrong edge. Okay. Do we have the room up here? This is the only part that we need to worry about. We don't really have the room up there. Oops, let's not do that. So let's do 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know. We could put the line there and then just try, just so we have a visual aid, we could put the line there and then just make sure that yeah, we could put the line there and then like we'll have a line there so we can see exactly what it affects. Only problem is it only goes right there. No problem. You can fix it. We can fix it. We will fix it. So we're gonna have to delete this. I don't know why it doesn't always work. I have no clue how why it only works sometimes and not others, but we have a solution. So we'll just move this that what we just deleted, we'll move it over. It's a little skinnier now, which is fine. We'll have to adjust this row. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we'll just hit F to fill it. That is an add-on. You could just go into edit preferences and then just click and find F2. F2 controls that option. You can't do that without F2. All right, so oh, okay. Somehow that we don't have to do anything more. What we need to do now is just this here. We can stretch this row out and that'll give us the room that we need. We don't actually have to add anything more. We just did some we fixed it accidentally the wrong way. We were trying to do another way to fix it, but we don't have to. That was slightly unintentional. Like we didn't fix it in the way that we expected, but it's fixed now. Now the front of it looks better. This looks, oh, we can fix that. Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Okay, there we go. Now we can fix, we can just adjust these two rows here. One row, 2 row. Just fix these 2 rows by adjusting them a little bit. I'm gonna scale this down. Okay. Now what we got here is, yeah, it looks better. We just need to do the back. And we can make we have an idea of how the front looks, so we could just try to make the back look the same. Honestly, we can just close the space up here and then go from there. Let me okay, there we go. I'm looking. I think we may have to add another row. I don't want to just connect these two together. I feel like that's not the way to go. So that's why I'm just looking. Pondering the way to go here. What we can do is just start creating space, see if we can get a better idea of what to do next. So we don't want to make these sloppy anymore. So we just have to take a little bit more time to make it look somewhat better than our last topologies. Let me try to swing these down. Now we have a thicker row. We're gonna have to keep doing that because we may have to open this up a little bit more too, just so it doesn't look like that. So it looks more like the front, just ever so slightly. So we have to make this a little bit more thick. And of course we could start, let me see, it kind of, looks like it blends like a little bit. You can't really tell when. Maybe right here, somewhere around here, we can start. We kind of need more, honestly, to work on the shoulder to work with. But let's see here. Go down. Okay. I'm going to shorten these a little bit. Sorry, I'm computing. I'm trying to think here. We're the best course of action. All right, so I think we can just take this roll and just move it down some. We shouldn't have to adjust all of these. We should be able to just move a couple of these down, and then it'll start evening out a little bit more. I can't really. Oh yeah, I can actually. I may have to move these rows too. Okay, let's go down some. Twist it. Kind of, it's like a little. It's like a balancing act. Like you have to. Like when you twist, if there's enough of an angle on one, and you twist it down, it drastically affects whatever it's connected to. So you kind of have to adjust everything to where it's nice and even, and then it'll slow like when you adjust this and it doesn't really change this that much. That's how you know you got a good angle there. See, we got this one's kind of almost 45 degrees. It barely touched this one, but we still have to adjust it because we want these rows to be a little more straighter, so that way they're easy to adjust. Because we're going to have to adjust them. I'm sure we're going to have to adjust them. Okay. Alrighty. No, we don't want to do the whole roll. So what I am going to do is also adjust the vertical rows as well as the horizontal ones. We could probably just slightly adjust this one. We just have a lot. We have a lot of bunch up here, and not a lot of leeway. These are just slightly. It would be very minute adjustments. You won't get a lot of real estate if we try to adjust all these anyway. So I'm thinking just slightly adjust these a little bit more and then just move on. I mean, there's really not much more space we'll get out of them. So I'm moving this one over. I'm just trying to make it look better. We're trying to do better retopology. I'm sure one day we'll have a solid workflow here for this. Just so we can keep all of the details that we sculpted without any problems. You want to have enough polygons to keep your details, but also low enough to where it doesn't lag anything that you use this mesh for. Basically, I think Z Remesh was doing like it was taking like tens of millions because I had like in 42 million, 52 million polygons. That program is great because it allows you to go overboard and it won't lag at all. And it'll take that and like put it down to like 100,000, but 100,000 is still pretty high because now we're doing like 20 or 30,000 meshes with in high quality, low poly meshes, like high detail. I mean, say high quality, high detail, low poly meshes. They're not high quality. I don't think they're high quality. Probably there's people out there that can do hyper realistic stuff. I don't know how much polygons it is, but they have a website to where you can see like some of the video game characters how much they have. I forget what it's called, but we want to keep our meshes below that, whatever that standard is. I think they were saying like 60,000 or something. I don't know. I don't remember actually I don't remember the exact numbers, but they were like standard numbers that you use for like games and whatnot, just so you don't lag out your system or lag out people's computers while they're playing your game. Because you have to worry about optimization as well. Okay, I'm just checking out the mesh. Looking, it doesn't, when you look at the front and the back, besides this, I don't really in this maybe I don't really see too much more that we can adjust here. I just want this to be better than the last one. That's the goal. The goal is to whatever we're drawing or mesh or sculpting, our only objective is to make it better than the last one. I feel like that's a good way to improve somewhat. I don't know if if that's a professional standard, but it's definitely something that's helped me just try to do better than the last time. We had a kind of a jumbled mesh. It wasn't too bad. I think most of the mistakes I made in the first mesh were in the inner thighs or something like that. I can't really remember though, but we kind of went I don't know, we'll just say middle of the road, and then this our second scope was like down. It was like a lower quality retopology, and now we're kind of hopefully trying to raise it better. I think it's better than both of the messages combined, to be honest, but it's not perfect. Just trying to do better. That's all. Not trying to be a perfectionist. Just trying to do better. Oh, I think we can go on. Yeah, maybe about right there. We could probably get a little bit more than we thought. It doesn't seem like it, but I think if we just have to make the edges follow the mesh a little bit. Can't just slap a grid on. That's what we were doing before. And it shows. It gets sloppy, and the mistakes just compound on themselves. Just trying to avoid that in the future. Try to move this down some. Okay, just move that and grab that, and then okay. All right. It's a little. Oh, what's going on there? Okay. Got rollout menus moving around. I don't know what the heck's going on. I don't know how that happened. I must have accidentally clicked something. I don't know. It wasn't that. Anyway. All right. I'm just gonna bring these together a little bit more. It's bending into the mesh a little bit, but we can fix it with G. I'm gonna try to scale this down a little bit. Scale it. Nope, scaling doesn't work. You just have to hit G. Okay, we got a little bit more there, but we got a lot more stuff to fix. I mean, I see it. It's definitely a better retopology than the other ones. So we're already there. We're already at the point where we made it better than the last ones. Now we're just kind of ramping up the perfectionism here, trying to make it the best that we could possibly make it. You got to keep raising the bar. Okay. Now let me move this some more. Get this. Okay. We need that. Just move this to the side. We have a little bit more space to cut over, to cut everything over. I'm looking at this roll right here. We might be able to move this up just slightly. I'll probably revisit this and make more adjustments off stream. Let's try to, but you get the gist of it. Basically, you're just making the little minute adjustments. It's better to just do this. Sometimes you can't really see it as you're doing it, and then you see after it's completed, and you're like, okay, maybe I can make some adjustments here and there. But let us try to keep going here, and then I'll just revisit that at a later time. Doesn't all have to be done now, just as long as we get an idea. I think the best way to do this right here is just to create a row right here and then fill it in up here instead of just trying to. Well, I guess we could have did it that way too. It's okay. We're all right. We're all right. I'm just going to complete the row. We have mirror. We have mirror, and they will connect to each other with snap. We have modifiers here, shrink wrap. So they even though it's a mirror, they will act like they're touching. And then we'll have to make sure the extra step that I said earlier, once we apply the mirror, is basically we have to make sure that they're actually physically connected. And there's ways to find out. When we cross that bridge, I will show you. I think actually, you know what? I might be able to. It's something up here that you click. Um, you have to go into edit mode, which we are. I wanted to see if I can quickly just say, what it is. I don't know. Was it edge tools? No. Was it project? No. Edge. Subdivide. Okay, I cannot quickly show you what it was, but when we get there, I'll know. I'll know the answer because I'm gonna refresh myself. I'm gonna refresh my knowledge here. I do take notes of my workflow. I'm gonna have to make sure. Hey, low base guy, welcome to the stream. Doing all right. How are you doing? Hope you're having a great Monday. We're doing retopology again, but it's definitely an improvement over our old ones. We're just making some minute adjustments here and there. We're just making sure that we don't we make the retopology follow the flow of the mesh a little better than before, and it's working out for us. It's just you're just gonna have to take our time with it, not rush through it like before. That's all. You have a better idea of what to do, and it's paying off. Or I don't know, maybe you just do stuff enough times, you just naturally get better at it. I don't know. I was trying to see something here. Separate. Thanks. No. Yeah, I'm just gonna have to refresh myself. I was gonna show you the next step after this, but I don't remember where the. Oh, here we go. Yeah, when once you apply the mirror, isn't this it? Face around hand, space angles. No, yeah, here it is, right, sir. It's the next one down. So once you apply the mirror, right, you hit select and you hit select all by no, yeah, all by trait, yeah, and you click non-manifold, and it will show you each edge that is not fully connected, and then you just go and you merge them at the center. That's all you have to do. I found it. There, that's it. We did it. We did it. There you go, low base guy. There's your your Nala pose. I'm doing it. I'm doing it for you. But yes, that's it. That's how you do it. That is actually the exact next step after this. You will see it, but I don't think I've shown that yet. There. I got it out of my memory banks and I got it into the world just for you. I did not have to refresh my memory. I figured it out. See, we're slowly committing it to memory. That's another goal of ours, is commit everything to memory so we could just do it. We don't have to think. We can just do it. It's all muscle memory. I'm going to go ahead and save it. It's doing all right. Doing all right. Okay. What do we got now? We're going to keep going. I mean, there's really not much more. We just have to keep going. I'm going to go down to the pack and I'm going to look at my anatomy references here just to make sure there's no other edge loops on the torso. It's just basically just one that goes around the torso, and that's it. There's really nothing else. Some people make the form kind of follow the abs a little bit. I mean, I'm not going to do that. Just as long as we get something nice and even all the way down, we should be fine. I'm gonna have to stop. I'm gonna have to do this part off stream though. I don't know if Twitch will like zoomed in butt cheeks while I'm doing that. So I'm gonna try to get, my goal is to get here and then we'll do the arms. But see how much time do I got left. We might be able to do it. We'll see. So this will be nice and easy. We just do, you could just click click the vertex and then just hit F to extrude it and just go all the way. I think that's another F2 thing, which is the name of the add-on, not the key F2. No, not butt cheeks. Yeah, I don't think that's something that I can show because I'll be all up on them, and I have to make sure that all the seams go all the way around in between his private area and his cheeks there. I gotta go all the way around. It's like mad zoomed in for like a long time, and I don't think Twitch will enjoy that. So that'll be off stream, and I'm going to try to do that sometime today after stream, so that way we don't have to deal with it the next time we stream. Because I'm not sure if I'll be able to stream tomorrow. I'm going to be busy in the morning. But by Wednesday, should be streaming on Wednesday, another art stream. So I want to have that done by then. I should be able to do that. That's my goal, to have that done. That way we can go on with the arms, legs, and feet, and hands, of course. And then once that's done, then we can go on to the unseen portion of the workflow, and I'll have my notes ready for that because there's a lot of technical things like behind the scenes type things that you gotta do that does not involve any type of if I remember correctly, yeah, we don't do anything with the mesh besides mark seams and unwrap and UVs and normals. That's all selecting menus and all that stuff. And then once all that's done, then we go into the secondary, the tertiary, and the micro details and all that stuff. And all that stuff's really easy. It just takes a while because you're really just putting in all these extra details into the mesh. But that's pretty much the gist of the next couple steps. You'll see. I don't have to really explain it because you'll see it. You're going to see it in the future. That's going to be where we're headed. And once we have that committed to memory, because all up to this point, we got it. We have this down pretty much up to this point. It's just the red topology that needs to be improved, which we're trying to do. And, but we know what to do. We know how to get to this point from scratch. The only thing that I don't have memorized are the remesh, the voxel size for the remesh. That's really the only thing that I really need my notes for at this point. And just the order of operations of what we try to do here. Sometimes I look at my notes to see if did I do the hands first or the feet, and that's basically this is really simple stuff like that. But it's the hands. It's the hands. And we don't do primary shapes for the feet, or at least we don't go into great detail like we do the hands because the feet are going to be in a shoe or boot, and I don't need super high detail feet because there's not going to be any scenes in the comic where this man's feet is going to be like front and center. Okay, so it's not a foot fetish comic, so we're okay there. It's not necessary. Okay, so we have somewhat of an edge loop here. It could probably be a little more even, but I think we can just continue on now. Oops. That's what happens when you have to be careful that you select the right vertices and edges and faces, whatever the case may be, when you have snap enabled, because they will attach to the nearest point of wherever you select, and that could be like across the way, and you don't want that. It's not that big of a deal. If it does happen, you can just delete the attachment, but you don't want to have to fix mistakes later. So just have to be aware of that. I'm just going to even up some of these vertexes. We're working in the vertex mode, vertex selection mode. You have a lot more control because you can move in any direction on a vertex as opposed to being in the edge select mode, which you can move in every direction, but it deforms more than you really want because you're connected to what is that one like nine edges. You're moving all nine edges as opposed to just moving. Well, yeah, you're just moving one vertex basically, which you're also moving the edges here. But I feel like you still have a great deal of control more than in this mode when you're trying to adjust stuff than the other mode. You can be very exact where you want the vertexes to be. So I really wish the people who run our buildings would figure out why the door stopped working when it rains, and you kind of know how to fix it. I think that's what you meant. Is it I mean, is it an electronic door? Is it a revolving door? Did it rain? Did it rain where you were at? We didn't have any rain over the weekend. We just had a lot of wind, and my neck cracked for some reason. Just by drawing a breath, my neck cracked. Oh, We have to stretch, do some stretches. That shouldn't happen. It's supposed to be stopped, not stopped. Kind of, fix it. There should have been commas with voice text. Didn't want to put those in either. Oh, okay, yeah, that's right. You did. You said you do. Yeah, you do say you have said in the past that you do the voice text. Yeah, gotcha. Just making some minor adjustments here. Boom, 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 boom. Jesus Christ, voice to text will not say anything I'm saying correctly. Yeah, that tends to be the case. Oh, don't do that. We don't want to do that. I saw that. I saw the one of the back vertexes was in the front. We don't want that. Okay, so all we have to do now is just add another row and make it connect properly to this row. So we're going to have to curve. We may have to curve a little bit. Let me see. Is that something yes, that's true. So what we could do is curve the bottom of the rib cage as well, just to make it flow better. We'll see. We'll see. Basically, just get some rows out there, and then we can find out what we need to do. I want to keep the additions about the same as these up here. Well, that's a little longer, and it would help to zoom in so we can see the length a little better. Yeah, it's about right the same size. Yeah, it's generally frustrating to have to stop and type when I'm trying to work. That is the entire point of voice to text. Yeah, yeah, I get you. I do that sometimes too. Sometimes when I'm in the chat, um, and I'm if I'm at my computer, and I like if I'm at home and I'm in someone's chat, I'm like sculpting or whatever, and I have to switch screens because my tablet is also I use that as a monitor. So I have to kind of like switch over, type, and then go back. It's kind of weird, but that's not like what you have to hear, what you have to go through because I could be as loud as I want. I'm in my apartment. I don't have to hide anything, but you're in your workspace there, and I know a lot of people have to try to keep it down, especially if they see something that's funny and all that stuff. But yeah, I don't need to. I don't really. If I'm at work and I'm listening, it's like a podcast or a stream or whatever. I don't have that problem because I my hands are free the entire time, so I just have the earbuds in, and I'm mobile most for like all my shift, so it's kind of better for me anyway. All right, so I think I'm gonna try to curve this up in to this row here. The problem is it is not the same with it's not the same with, so we got to fix it. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, I'm going to dissolve it for right now. We should be able to add it back if we need another one. We hit T there. That's what T does. It completely removes this row here. We don't want that. You want to be able to see that. And we'll just go ahead and control Z that. We're getting to the point now where I have very low undo steps. So if I make a mistake, I'm gonna have to force myself to fix it instead of just hitting undo. But in that case, we can just hit undo. That's just a personal goal of mine. You don't really need to do that. You can add, I've had my steps up to my undo steps up to 256 before, but I stopped doing that. That does add, like if you have like a weaker like if you have a weaker system, like my system's pretty beefy, but the program itself will still lag from time to time. You can reduce some lag by lowering your undo steps. So it's kind of that. It kind of has something to do with that as well. I think you can go way higher than that on ZBrush. So I don't think that's an issue on ZBrush, but for Blender, sometimes Blender might lag. If you have too many mirror modifiers, that can handle it too. That can do that too. So I need to go back and check my old sculpts and make sure that I applied all my mirror modifiers. That can add lag as well to the system. It doesn't necessarily have anything to do with the type of computer you have, because mine is pretty strong, but this program will still lag on it for whatever reason. So, but yeah, I made the undo steps pretty low, just so I don't have to rely on undo a lot. Like if I make a mistake and I can't go all the way back, I'll just have to fix it. I've already showcased some incidents like that on stream. Me just trying to fix a mistake that I made that I can't just undo. It seems to be working out for us so far. Let's see here. What we got? What do we got? I think instead of starting here, I'm gonna start right here. Matter of fact, no. Yes, actually, I am gonna start right there. We're just gonna we're just gonna have to have a big polygon there, which is fine. This part shouldn't stretch too much with the arm. I think the weight paints like again, this is going to be something that we're going to have to see like in Unreal Engine 5 to see exactly how much is stretching in which areas. That's something that you're going to have to look at and see like, oh no, like this is pulling all the way, when you move your arm up here, it's pulling all the way down here. So that's when you would adjust your weight paints to only affect, the affected areas that it should affect. So that's not something that we can test right at this second, but when we have a working rig, that's another way we can test it. We don't have working rigs yet. Fully working rigs anyway. We have partially working rigs, not fully. We can only control some of the face, not all. Our eyes are still a little wonky. The eyelids don't always work, but I think I narrowed down the mistake, and one day I'm gonna do a stream of that because, like I said, there's not much more for me to have to learn from an additional external source. I pretty much got the gist of it for the most part, so it's just me figuring, like troubleshooting it, basically, just figuring out for myself how to make things work. It's really it's a very simple. When you try to automate the rigging, it's very simple. It's just gotta make it work. Unlike manual, where you have to just make every single bone connected, parented, et cetera, et cetera. That is probably that probably takes longer than sculpting itself. But if we can't get Rigify to work in a program like Unreal Engine 5, we may have to return to manual just for the sake of getting things to work. I don't want to add another triangle. Well, actually, that's not really a triangle. Okay, never mind. Still kind of wide right here though, but I don't want to add another loop because let's see, let's look here. Yeah, we just spent a lot of time like separating that, making more space there, and we don't have much more space to give, so we're just gonna have to keep that wide. We're just gonna have to let that go. So what I'm gonna do is maybe we can just move the vertex downward a little bit here and then just add another one like so. Oh yeah, right here. Why don't you check out anybody here? Check out Low Base Guy's stream. Go ahead, give him a follow. He does photography. He does software like he designs his own bots and AI for chat. Very interesting stuff. I think that's what he was doing last time he streamed. I don't really have any input any input of exactly what it is because I haven't done any very much coding myself. The most I've done was maybe like some Lua edits, some configuration. It's very, it's, I guess it's sort of similar to that. I'm not really sure. We haven't gotten into coding yet. That's something further down the line for us, but you can watch Low Base Guy do it because he seems to know what he's doing. So check that out. And photography too. He's very good at photography. That's another medium that I'm not well versed in. I mean, the best I can do is like, I don't know, rule of thirds. I guess that's a photography thing, right? I don't know actually, but it's used in drawing. So okay, so sorry. But yes, check out Low Base Guy. It's very interesting stream, and he has a pretty versatile a versatile community, art community, all kinds of art, photography, draw artists. I was gonna say drawing. I guess that's fine. I was gonna say drawers actually, drawing, 3D, other 3D artists as well. Very big community. So check that out. Okay. Oh yeah, and I'm sorry because I'm so bad at this. So bad at this. Oh, I gotta wait 4 seconds. Okay. Wait, what? No. Okay, there. And check out RTFX Studio too. She actually does what we've been talking about, game development, okay, and sometimes uh, some gameplay as well. I think art studio does play Minecraft from time to time, but mostly art and game development. She's already made a couple of games, and if you're interested in that, go ahead and check her out as well. Okay, there. Sorry about that, people. Shout outs. Like I'm so freaking into what I'm doing here that I forget to do that, and I need to get better at that. Okay, we're wrapping around the torso. That's what we were doing. And hey, I just noticed that the shout out announcement color matches the chat color of the person you're shouting out. That's actually kind of cool. I don't see that on my end, but that is interesting. I actually, it's just your names come up purple for me. I guess it would be for you too if you were shouting out, but when you're in the chat, it looks different. And actually, it doesn't even look the same for me, even though I have my chat popped out on another monitor. It doesn't look like this when you actually shout out someone. So I don't know if that's a Stream Elements thing because I use OBS, but um, yeah, it could be. I actually don't know. I thought about using Stream Elements, but since I already had some experience using OBS, I just opted to use that. I didn't know much about the add-ons for OBS, so that's why I was looking at Stream Elements because I know they have a lot of add-ons and stuff that you can add to it. But OBS also has add-ons, so I stuck with OBS. Might not be as, I don't know, easy to use, I think, but it's I got some of them to work because I've already used OBS before. Honestly, don't know which one's better. I'm only using OBS because I used it before. That's it. All right, so from here, it looks like we could just wrap around all the way down. I did not intend for that to rhyme, but it doesn't really rhyme. But you know what I'm saying. Anyway, go ahead. We're going down. We're going down now. Okay, we're going down, further down to his belt line right here, and we're just gonna wrap it up around here. We might be able to get down here during the stream. Streamlabs is just OBS with a bunch of bloat. All that extra bloat causes so many problems on people's computers. It's nice that it has those built-in features, but you can get plugins that do almost all of that for regular OBS if you just do a little bit of extra legwork. Yeah, that's what I was. That's exactly what I thought. I didn't have any specific ones in mind, but the ones that I did find, they're just fine for me. I don't didn't really have uh too many plans with bells and whistles. I can just use scenes for the things that I want to do, which is basically just like reaction stuff, which I don't really use that often. It's just just play little animations or whatever. Um, Speaking of which, I actually have some animations that I wanted to add to my stream that I have not finished yet. I need to get on that. My stream needs a lot of work that I haven't been able to do, but we'll get there. We'll get there. It's not terribly important. And overlays and stuff. I'm not really interested in having an overlay though. I don't even know what kind of overlay I would put. Sometimes that can be distracting, so I'm kind of like not really focused on that. Although, for something like this, maybe an overlay or maybe something playing would actually probably do some good because this is very this is very tedious. And I'm trying not to zone out while I'm doing it. I'm just trying to stay attentive and looking at what I'm doing and trying to make it look as good as I can. That may have been part of the problem as to why my retopology wasn't so good for the last two sculpts. I might have just been a little checked out when I was doing them, just a little. Just want to get through it, and so I can get to the next phase. But we're not at that. We're not doing that anymore because I know what the next phase is, and that's it really. Because we've done it. We've done it twice already. Man, that doesn't look so bad. It's just wide, a little bit wide here and here, but I think we can forgive that because that's the torso, and it's not. I mean, besides, if you're making them do stretches or something, whatever, I don't know, an animation. I don't know. Maybe that'll count for something, but I don't know. I have no clue. I think it'll be fine though. I'm very interested to see how these work. If like rigify my retopology in uh, a game engine, just to see how my meshes hold up in animation because we have not tested this workflow in that type of environment yet. And I just want to see if it works. If it works, it'll be great because that'll make things a lot easier in the future for me. Now I'm just looking at the rows here. We got a little bit of edges here to straighten. I'm just going to shorten that a little bit. I'm going to grab this, take it, twist it upward. I'm going to select that. I'm going to hit G because it's clipping inside of the mesh a little bit. I want to be able to see everything. It clipping inside the mesh doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things because we are just going to end up not baking, but shrink wrapping these details onto this mesh. Because right now this will be the base, but all we have to do is just add a shrink wrap modifier onto this plane for the body. I mean, it's already that right now, but you know what I'm saying. Like all these details that we've sculpted in will actually be on this. I forget where I was going with that. I'm sorry. I don't even remember what I just said. What is happening? What is happening to me right now? Okay, so yeah, I don't remember the point I was trying to make with that one, but yeah. Yeah, there was something. There was some. I was going to say something else. I just forgot what it was. I was leading into something and I kind of just lost it. Retopology does that to me. Okay, it's like I said, it's very tedious. Sometimes I lose my train of thought, but that's okay. We'll get there. And where was I going with that? I don't know. I don't actually remember. Just wrapping around the torso. Oh, right. I remember now. Yeah. Sorry about that. I remember now. Yeah, I was saying that it doesn't matter if this clips into this because once the details are baked into this, we can we can hide this, we can delete it, it won't matter. I'm not going to delete it though because if we run into a problem with the flip normals or with the texture, then we can go back and reapply the meshes as a way to fix it. All right? And that was one of the problems that I had with my previous mesh. I had too few polygons on the mesh, and so when I was got to the point where I was baking the final details onto the mesh, some of the textures were pixelated in certain places. Okay, but because I had the original body mesh, I was able to fix it. That was the only thing that saved me because I not only did I do that, not only did I had too few. Actually, no, that's really nothing that fixes. If you have too few polygons from your retopology and you bake it and it has pixelation, you have to re-retopologize it. There's no way around it. But the reason why I was able to fix it is because I still had the body. So all I had to do was just delete what I did, which was like a couple days of work, and then re-retopologize it. Okay. And then the second time I did it, the normals weren't flipped. And I started sculpting the tertiary and secondary and micro details onto that. Now, when you try to paint your textures on, the textures will be inside of the mesh instead of outside. Okay, because the face the what is this? What is this again? Yeah, the face select. They have a front and a back no matter what, and you can't change it. The only way you can do is flip it. And once you flip it, then all your details are reversed as well. That is a little bit easier to fix. All you have to do for that is just rebake it. But I didn't have the original mesh for some of the clothing, and I had to redo that. Okay, and that was another couple of days, maybe a week or so, that I had to restart that. And that's I didn't, when I was on hiatus from streaming, I wanted to come back sooner. Those are the reasons why I didn't because I kept messing up my mesh. And but we know how to work out of it now. So the point is just to keep the original stuff. So we'll just hide this until we're completely done and then delete it. All right. So that's basically it. Like I said, doesn't matter. It's just so we can see in this stage our retopology. That's really it. Doesn't really matter if it sinks in a little bit. I don't think that causes any problems. I can't think of any problems that it would cause because it won't be there in the end anyway. This will be the final product. I guess it's a distance thing. The back muscles will be kind of sunken in a little bit more, but I don't see how that would really matter. It won't really affect the form because it's I don't know. I guess the mesh will just be the dimensions will be slightly changed. I mean, I don't know how if you can even perceive the changes that would make, but it's not it's not super important. We're only just making sure that it's not clipping here just so we can see it. At least to that's my understanding of it. I could be wrong. It could actually affect something down the line. I just don't know what it could be because we make sure that it doesn't happen. That's basically it. But in any case, it's looking good, at least to me anyway. It looks good so far. We're gonna keep going down. I'm gonna stop right here because we'll be doing this part off stream, but we'll still have the arms and legs. Yeah, we got some time. I don't know if I gotta leave. I could come back. I might just end the stream though. I gotta leave though for a little bit and then come back. But I think I might just end it when I leave. So we'll have a typical 3-hour stream, I guess. as opposed to a longer stream. Hopefully that'll change in the future, but we're just gonna have to deal with it for right now. It's kind of part of the reason why I'm starting earlier than normal. Is because during the middle of my stream time I have to leave. So yes, here we are. And then, it's only gonna be for an extra hour or two, and then I gotta leave again. So I might as well just end the stream. That's why I don't too long of a break. I don't want to, break it up to the point where you might not want to watch anymore. So we'll probably just stop it around in about 20 minutes or so, 20-30 minutes. But we might be able to get down here. So let me just go on. Even if we don't, I'm still gonna keep going. That way, this part is done for the next time we stream. Let's can. There's not much to adjust here because we're just it's a fairly cylindrical form here that we're following, and we can just go all the way around, all the way down until we get to about somewhere around here, and then we kind of have to follow the form a little bit more, and all the way up under there. I want to get that part done before the next time I stream too, because that's probably the most. That's a really focused and involved portion. I can't even stream it anyway, so it's okay. But I want to get that part done. Let's see. This. Just basically just keep going. We don't want that. We don't want that to happen. We want to make sure that they are touching and not intersecting. We're not crossed over on each other, because that is something that will make the next step a lot harder. I have done that before. We don't want it to wrap around itself. It's not very good when that happens. Now these are starting to stretch a little bit, so I'm going to bring them up a little bit here, just to make sure that they are even with the squares above them, the faces. There's not a lot that we can see the consequences of our work until we get it into Unreal 5. I just want to know what I need to fix. That's the only way we can test the quality of this retopology. I can tell you the looks of it have improved, but we still don't know exactly if it's good enough for anything else besides just posing. I don't see any deformities when I'm posing it, so technically you shouldn't see any when you're animating it either, but I'm not going to know until I actually see it in motion. Matter of fact, you know what? I'm probably gonna try to download Unreal Engine 5 later anyway, just so I have it and set it up on my computer. I was using Unity, but I don't. We don't. We don't. I guess we don't roll Unity anymore. So, yeah, you can already see the details in some of the details in the lower poly mesh. So we're on the right track here. For the most part, all the muscles and stuff are there. So once we get the actual details on, it should look just like this, but with a lot less polygons, and that's a good thing. Easier on the system. It'll be easier to animate, easier to pose, easy all around the board. We'll just start another row. Probably need some straightening here and there, and that's probably something that I'll work on before the next stream. Wednesday will be the next stream. The next art stream anyway. I don't know. I won't be streaming art tomorrow, but I might be able to do a game stream. I don't know. I have to see though. I have to see how I feel, because it's harder for me to do a game stream in the evening, even though that's when I plan on doing game streams, because not because of the energy, energy wise, I might just want to chill. But streaming is seems to be kind of taxing, even though we're just having fun here and I'm doing what I normally do. But it's definitely taking more energy. It's because I'm speaking, I guess, as opposed to just sitting there and doing it. Things are a lot faster. Pretty much the only difference, and it doesn't tire me out. It's okay. We'll get through it. All right, we're gonna go another. We're just gonna keep continuing the row, I guess. There's really not much more commentary that I could do here. That's the one thing about retopology that's kind of weird to stream. It's like, okay, we're just gonna start another row now. Especially when this is where you all you have to do is just this. It's like there's really not much to say here. And that's okay. Oh, we got a little overlap. I don't want to do that. Just gonna move the vertex slightly over to the right here. Okay. And then I'm just gonna start another row. Oh man. I think a detail like this, you could, if you really wanted to say, like if I actually did a super accurate belly button, which I think this would be a micro detail, then I would get all the way in and like kind of just like have the red topology follow that form a little bit better. But we don't have to do that right now because that's something that we'll address later, I think. I don't really put much effort into it anyway. I kind of just dig in the hole and then kind of like put a little inflation there and call it a day pretty much. I mean, we don't have to get that close to his belly button. That's not something that is going to feature in the story on a male or female. I don't think. I mean, you'll see it, but probably on a woman. But I mean, we're not going to be like zoomed all the way in on it. So I don't know. I just don't see the point of doing that. Now, if this were their final product, like if I were using it for a video game, obviously we make it look as good as possible because that's all you're going to be seeing. But that's not the case for these types of meshes. I am tempted to put it in practice and make an actual belly button there, but I'll save that for my study sculpt, which will be a full blown human body, freaking all the details, okay? And I want to use that as my animation template. So we'll see. Just got to make sure the body doesn't clip through the clothing because um, I want to make it safe for Twitch, but also super accurate. So we have to find out. We're gonna have to find out how that's gonna happen. My first my first thought about that would be to make the clothes thicker, but there's gonna be physics and everything, so I have to see how that behaves. I'm really gonna have to get into making sure that the weight paints are good, which I've done before, but only for the manual bones because that's something you have to actually. You can do automatic weights, but if that doesn't work out, then you'll have to manually change the weights yourself. That row is too small. Let's back up some. That's what happens when you fall into a rhythm. I think I stopped there because of the belly button. I wanted to see if but you know what, we're not gonna worry about the belly button right now. Like I said before, we can just add that in the secondary or tertiary or micro detail portion and not worry about it right now. I think this will still shrink wrap into the mesh as is. So I never had any problems with a disappearing belly button. The only thing that I had a problem with was the boots and the grip underneath the boots disappearing because I didn't retopologize it right, and that's on the boot that we're probably just going to end up copying and pasting onto this guy. So I'm not even going to worry about it. I think I alphaed the bottom of a boot and called it a day, and basically just stamped on the pattern, and it's not even fully stamped on, but that's something I can just draw. If he has to like say like if you for instance if you like kicked a door and you see the bottom of the boot, I can just draw it. It doesn't have to be on the mesh. So I'm not really too worried about that. But like I said, if it were like in a game or an animation, we want it there. this won't be used for either. Even though I do want to test, I just want to test the retopology in Unreal Engine, but we won't use this mesh for anything. I'm gonna have actual animation ready meshes for the animation, which I'm already working on. So I mean, I'll show it. Just stay tuned when it's done. Or don't stay tuned. I mean, I'll just show it eventually. If you're here, you're here. Um, yeah, okay, it doesn't look too bad. Probably have to adjust this row though, but just move it down a little bit. Oops, that's a little too far. We don't want to rush it. I think, yeah, we're good. Yeah, basically we're just doing this. That's basically it. I think it's fine like this, but I'm just gonna just try to make it look better, and I'll adjust it later. But yeah, so far, I mean, I don't see any problems. This is probably the best retopology I've ever done. It's Let me save it because every time I say that, I think of a crash. And I say, oh yeah, it's pretty good. And I'm like, well, maybe I should save it. Okay. Like I said, the only thing that I can see being a problem is the corner of the mouth. Even though we kind of found a solution, I don't know how much of a solution it is, but we made a decision on that. There's a triangle on the corner of the mouth though, so I mean, I don't know how that's gonna go. It's not like we're gonna be lip syncing. It's literally just for posing, and I've already posed my meshes. I saw no deformities whatsoever, so that's why I'm like, I don't know how much effort I have to put into making this good, because even with my messed up meshes, we couldn't control all the face because of the way I rigged it, but um, the only problem that I saw with the mesh was the mesh clipping through the clothes a little bit. Now, for drawing purposes, we can ignore that, but um, yeah, that's I didn't see any problems other than that. Just some clipping issues. There was no deformities. It's just some problems with the eyes coming out of the socket a little bit, but we'll eventually fix that. I'm sure there's a fix out there that I'm going to have to look for and find it and then apply it. And see, the dip is kind of there, so I mean, I'm sure that the belly button will return. I'm not really too concerned about it. Like I said, that was not something that um I perceived as a problem with my other meshes. They all had a belly button when I'm done retopology. I actually just don't remember, but like I said, it was something that never came up. So I'm not gonna worry about it. That was wrong. Stop. We want to click that one. We hit F2 fast, so yeah. All right, yeah, we're looking pretty good. Soon we'll be right there, and then we can go. We can start the arms, or and I think I'm just gonna just keep going down. I just won't be able to stream it. I have to take the pants off. I got to take your pants off. I don't know if that's an actual quote. Probably somewhere. I'm pretty sure someone said it. Um, I'm gonna change this, and we're just gonna do another row, I guess. I mean, it's really very tedious. I wasn't sure how doing this manually would turn out, but we seem to be making improvements. We seem to be making improvements. My very first red topology was not great, not great at all. But this one's okay. I'm sure this one could be better too, but it's definitely my best work so far on this. So we're definitely completing our objective of doing better than last time. And that's all I really asked for. We'll get it eventually. We'll always get it. I don't think I've run into anything that I just couldn't grasp art wise, you know. We'll find a way. I'm just checking out the torso here and seeing if there's anything that I need to adjust right this second. I don't think so, so I'm just gonna keep going. We're just making more rows. Really not much more to it than that. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna pull back all the way and take a look here. Yeah, I mean, not much else. It does bunch up here, but we don't have any more room. The only thing I can think of would be to delete some of these rows in the back of his head, but that'll make this part look weird, so I'm just not gonna do anything. He'll have hair here, so I mean I don't see why I can't just leave it like that. Maybe we'll have a more definitive answer in the future to how to solve that. I think just using less polygons would be the quickest way to solve that, but we want to make sure that all the faces do not lose any detail whatsoever, because that's the thing you're going to see the most in all the panels are the faces, even at a distance. So we don't want to lose any details there, or maybe not even the hands either, but everywhere else we can fix it in post, as they say. All right, let's do another row here. I'm gonna overlap the I should have time to overlap the underwear a little bit. Overlap the underwear. We have the in front selected. Where's that at? Yeah, right here. We have in front selected, so we'll be able to cover that somewhat. But you want to be able to see the form as it is. You know, we can't. I don't want to do the retopology like that because I can't see what I'm doing with the underwear there. So I'm gonna have to remove the underwear. That'll be off stream thing though, as I said before. I think this row is a little too small though. So I'm gonna go to edges, make it slightly longer, and then start the row. Okay. Now we go. This one's a little crooked. Just gonna straighten it. Got it. We got it. You want to make sure that you're looking at it head on, because when you make adjustments, you can't see them. It's not going to look right when you turn. So I just want to make sure you can see what you're doing. Now this row is kind of turning this way. I don't know if that's a form thing. It could be just the way his body is, but I'm gonna see if I can straighten that out later. Okay. Move in a little bit. Move this a little bit. Okay. Just making some minor adjustments here to making sure it's nice and straight. I'll do that in more detail later. Okay, I do believe we're almost there. And then when I get past this point, then we're gonna have to take the underwear and put and select in front for them, so he's still wearing them while we're still doing this. Um, I will be able to make some progress here. I think the next time you'll see it, either the arm or the legs will also be done too. Since we're going to try to get this done, I'll probably just do the legs. and we'll see where we're at with the arms here. I'm gonna see how much free time I have for that, because we're also going to do our animation study mesh as well. I'll try to fit like at least an hour for that. What is this? Why is it doing that? Hmm. Oh, it might be snapped onto the underwear. That might be why. All right, so that's something I'm gonna have to fix later. I'm not really worried about that right now. Hang on, let me see something. Yeah, that's what it is. We're zoomed in. You can't see anything. Don't worry about it. All right, now I'm turning the underwear back on. Okay. Yeah, because the underwear is there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna do it like this. We're gonna pretend, okay, that the underwear is not there, and I'll just fix it later. Actually, you know what? I should just stop right here because this is I can't work like this, or I shouldn't work like this. I should say. I could do it, but I'm gonna be spending a lot of time fixing it. We can't go back any further. So yeah, I think we'll just stop it here because the underwear is now in the way. It's getting in the way. All right. So this is what we have so far. We did our torso. It's fairly it made there's a flow there, maybe some minor adjustments here and there, but this is the progress we've made today. Okay. I want to thank everyone who stopped by today. I want to thank everyone who's watched the VOD. If you're watching through the VOD or on YouTube, the next time I come back with an art stream will be Wednesday morning. Okay. I might do an art stream tomorrow. I mean, sorry, a game stream tomorrow night. We're gonna be playing Shadow Hearts. But that's tentative for right now. I gotta see because, like I said, it's the end of the day. I'm winding down. I may not have the energy, but I'm going to try to continue progressing through that game. Okay. Wait, just got the notification. I'm sorry, 99. I'm sorry. It just said stream was starting. Are you serious? We've been here. What in the world? I'm sorry, it's 99, but yes. When is Shadow Hearts? I'm going to try to do it tomorrow night, 99. Okay. I gotta see how much energy I have. But yeah, that's what we did. We did the torso. I'm gonna try to get the legs done and whatnot, and we'll be back with another art stream on Wednesday. Okay.